Hi, my name is Jessica Perez, and this is my second video presentation for Economics 112. So we're going to start off with trade deficit. And what is trade deficit? A trade deficit occurs when a country buys more goods and services from other countries than it will sell to these other countries. For example, if the United States purchased a lot of electronics, clothes, and cars from places like China and Japan, and if the US spends $500 billion on these imports, but only makes $300 billion from exports, then the US has a trade deficit of $200 billion. So the opposite of a trade deficit is a trade surplus. A trade surplus occurs when a country sells more goods to other countries than it buys from them. For example, if Germany exports a lot of cars like BMWs and Mercedes to other nations, and if it sells more than it purchases from other countries, then Germany will have a trade surplus. Now, does the United States operate at a trade deficit or a surplus? The United States usually has a trade deficit, and the reason why the United States has a trade deficit is because Americans buy a lot of imported products. Many business owners think it's cheaper and less expensive to manufacture goods in other countries than having that goods and products manufactured in the US. As a result of that, the US ends up spending more money on goods from other countries than those countries will end up spending buying goods from the United States. Pre-1930s economic views, they viewed that the government viewed that the economy would fix itself. The government shouldn't get involved. This was called the laissez-faire approach. If people lose their jobs, wages will change on their own and the economy will return to normal. It's thought that marketers will always aim for full employment. To sum this up, they thought the economy would sort itself out if they just didn't get involved and left it alone. So eventually that does change because it doesn't work. And why this changed? Conventional wisdom economics changed after the Great Depression in 1929. During this time, a lot of people lost their jobs, many businesses went under, and it took years for the economy to recover. This situation showed that the previous idea was not enough. But before the 1930s, many people thought the economy could recover on its own without any help from the government. However, Keynes believed that when the economy is struggling, the government needs to get involved. They need to spend money, and that will help bring the economy back up. So Keynes economics, suggested by John Maynard Keynes. The economy doesn't always correct itself. In times of recession, the government needs to intervene. The government needs to get involved. The government should use spending and tax strategies to raise demand. If people aren't spending, the government should help the economy grow. The government can do that by helping building new roads, build new schools, creating jobs, creating employment for people to get the economy back to what it should be. To summarize, the government should act like a bridge, stepping in when the economy is struggling. So, some trade-offs. Government roles pre-1930s was hands-off, don't get involved. Post-1930s, hands-on, especially during recessions. Belief about economy pre-1930s, they believed it would fix itself naturally. Post-1930s, hands-on, especially during recessions. They want to get involved. Unemployment response, pre-1930s, wages will adjust. Post-1930s, government should create jobs. The main focus difference, pre-1930s, long-run market adjustments. Post-1930s, short-run problems like recessions. So monetary policy and fiscal policy. Monetary policy is managed by the Federal Reserve, also referred to as the Fed. The monetary policy deals with interest rates and how much money is available in the government. To help the economy, the Fed might decrease interest rates This will make it easier for people to borrow money, and if people could borrow more money, they will be able to spend it. To help the economy, the Fed might also raise the money supply. This allows people to get loans more easily. The fiscal policy is managed by the government, specifically Congress and the president. The fiscal policy includes taxes and how the government spends money. To support the economy, the government might boost spending like stimulus or infrastructure. To support the economy, the government might also lower taxes so people have extra cash to spend. So supply and demand. Supply is the amount of goods available, and demand is how much the public wants or needs it. The cost of a good is driven by demand. If the demand is high, the price will increase, and vice versa. If demand is low, the price will decrease. Businesses aim to find the highest price they could charge for a product without negatively affecting the demand for it. An example could be like a store will put all its winter attire and clothing on sale once the winter season is over because the demand is not high anymore. So they lower the cost, so it makes people want to buy it because they're going to get a good deal on it. Next, we have the business cycle. So what is the business cycle? The business cycle shows the changes in the economy over time. Sometimes the economy grows, sometimes it slows down. There are 4 main stages, and after trough, it goes back to recovery/expansion, and the cycle continues. The business cycle. The 5 stages. 1 is expansion, the economy is growing. 2 is peak, which is the highest point. 3 is recession, when the economy slows down. Trough is the lowest point of the cycle. Recovery is when the economy starts to improve again. Continuation. Expansion. During the expansion, businesses are producing more goods and services. Companies are hiring more, so there's more jobs. People have more money and they spend more. Confidence is high. The stock market often begins to rise. You can think of this stage as the economy getting stronger and rising upward. Peak, which is the highest point. The peak is the top of the point in the business cycle. At the peak, the economy is doing extremely well. Businesses are earning a lot of money. People have jobs and their pay is high. Spending is strong. But that doesn't continue. Eventually, something happens. Since the economy can't keep getting better forever, once it gets to the peak, the growth will slow down and it's going to lead into a recession. If you think of it like at the top of a hill, you can't go any higher, so you begin to go downward. So next we have recession. Recession is when the economy slows down. During the recession, businesses will begin to sell less. Companies lay off workers. People spend less because they're worried about the economy, so they don't spend their cash. And then production decreases as well. The recession is a downward slope where the economy loses its strength. It's no longer as strong as it once was. After recession is trough. The trough is the lowest point in the business cycle. At the trough, the economy is having a hard time. Many people might not have jobs. Companies are not making as much money. Shoppers are not buying as much. But after this point, the economy often starts to get better and things will begin to improve. If you think of it like a valley, at the lowest point, but that's also where the journey begins to start going back up. After the recovery happens, the economy starts to improve again. Spending slowly increases, businesses hire again, confidence returns. This brings it back to the expansion stage, completing the cycle. Recession versus expansion. Expansion happens when the economy is growing. During expansion, businesses make more money, companies hire employees, unemployment decreases, people feel more confident and they spend more money. The production of goods and services go up. Imagine the economy taking a deep breath. growing, getting stronger, and feeling full of energy. A recession is the opposite, when the economy is getting smaller or slowing down. During a recession, businesses earn less money. Companies might have to let go of employees, unemployment rates go up, people become more careful and spend less money, the production of goods and services go down. A recession often feels like the economy is getting tighter because it's becoming smaller. And that's all I have, so thank you.